Hi, my name is Lynn. I work at the Career Center as one of the career counselors. I work specifically with the College of Humanities and Arts and College of Social Sciences. And today I'm talking about Portfolium, which is an ePortfolio tool. So we'll go over how to use it and what are the benefits of it, as well as some student showcases after as well. So before I actually show you Portfolium, I want to show you something really awesome. Of course, as a designer myself, I have a little bit of a soft spot for these creative resumes. If you guys haven't seen this before, it's really awesome. So let me just pull it up here. So this guy, Robert Leonardi, he did an online portfolio and a resume where he actually designed it like a game. So has anybody actually seen this before? No. Okay. So as you can see, he's obviously a very talented designer, very talented coder. But as you go throughout this portfolio, you can actually see all the accomplishments he's done, all the skills he has, very nicely created, as well as some of the projects and experience that he has done as well. So the reason I want to show this to you first is that this obviously gives a much better view of this person's skills, their experience, and their talents, more than just maybe just a paper resume might show. So from here, whether or not that employer knows what Incognito Digital is, they can see from their portfolio that there's a lot of skills already showcased through this work. So back to the, here. So the reason I wanted to show you guys that was because I think that was a very good example of why a visual portfolio can be very impactful for a student. Can anybody guess what percentage of employers say that an electronic portfolio would be useful to them in ensuring that job applicants have the knowledge and skills to succeed? Any guesses?
80%.
That was a good guess. How did you know? I feel like I should give you a prize. So it is 80%. That was a very good guess. So that is actually a very high percentage. 80% means that 8 out of 10 of these employers say that they would actually like to see these electronic portfolios. So I know a lot of times people kind of automatically think that portfolios are just for like the art students, the design students, those who have something visual to show. But the reason why we want to talk about Portfolium today is that it is actually meant for all students, for all majors. Whether they are maybe engineering majors, business majors, art majors, they can use Portfolium to really expand what they have on their resume. So Portfolium is an ePortfolio tool to really enhance their application materials. So when they're writing that resume, they can actually put that Portfolium link so that when an employer looks at their resume and says, wow, I saw that you did this project, but I would actually like to see more, they can actually then directly go to their portfolio and see more of the work that they actually did. It also helps to show employers' skills through concrete work examples. So I'm sure when an employer is looking at a student and says, okay, well, I know that they did this project, but what does it really look like? When they go onto their Portfolium, they can actually see those work samples right off the bat. So they can see right away, okay, this person has done this project and shown these skills, and I'd really want to interview them to know more about what they can do. And lastly, it helps to build their online work presence. So 80% of employers also do search up their candidates online. So that means they'll be looking at their Facebook, their LinkedIn, maybe their Twitter. So all of these things can come up when you Google someone's name. So why not have them show something as important as a portfolio when they search you up? And it's really important more and more these days to have a really strong online presence, as a lot of these employers can easily look for a lot of candidates through LinkedIn, through Google, through our own Sparta jobs. So it's really good to have that strong online presence. So the NACE Job Outlook Report came out this year. They do one every year. NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they do a report surveying employers about what they like to see on resumes. So what kinds of skills they might be looking for from the candidates that they're getting. So I know that a lot of people automatically might think, okay, well, it's their major courses, it might be some technical skills, but a lot of the skills they're actually looking for are transferable skills. So things like leadership and teamwork and communication are huge in the world of job searching. So a lot of times I know these students, as we meet with them, have a lot of trouble showcasing them. So when they see something like teamwork, how do they actually showcase that they have teamwork skills? When they see something like analytical skills, how are they actually going to show that they are able to critically analyze? A lot of these skills are showcased through projects. So Though they can, of course, include it in a resume, they can also showcase it to a lot of employers through their Portfolium. So even from communication, they can have examples such as, say they did a debate, they did a social media campaign, maybe they did a research project. All of those projects that they already do in class can be applied through Portfolium. And even for these other skills as well, there's so many different aspects that students can use things they've already done to really enhance their application. And I think the reason this is really important, especially for students, is that I know a lot of students come in and they say, okay, well, I haven't done any experience yet. I'm trying to get my first internship. How do I get a first internship if I don't have any experience? Well, the key to that is finding these projects, finding things that they have already done to really enhance what skills they have. So of course now I want to show what Portfolium is. So I'll go to the website, and so we do have a San Jose State University page for Portfolium, and so this is what that page looks like. So you can actually see all the projects that students have already posted on here, and it's another good way to also get inspired. So as students are looking to post their own projects, they can see what other people have already done. And as you look at through here, you can also see that there really is a large variety of projects. More than just, an art project or a design project. You'll see anything from a self-navigating car project. Robotics is in here. And so as you look through these, I think it's definitely something very useful for a lot of students to use. And I just wanted to quickly also show you why Portfolium is a really good tool for them to post their projects. So a lot of people might have already been familiar with LinkedIn. So this is kind of like a complementary tool to them. So it's good to have both to showcase the different aspects that are strengths for their application. The strength of Portfolium, of course, is in its portfolio. So you can actually upload multiple images. You can upload, download documents. And you can also write descriptions and tag teammates and skills. So I think one of the biggest strengths of Portfolium is that as you look at this skills section, an employer can actually go through, click on the skill, and find which projects that they did with that exact skill. So especially for things like, they're looking for someone who knows how to use Java. They could click on that skill and find the exact projects that they did using it. And so I think as students are trying to build their portfolio, as they're trying to apply for jobs and internships, Portfolium really is a really good tool for them to expand and use what they already know and what they've already done to be a very successful candidate and to get that job or internship that they're looking for. So that is pretty much the overview of what Portfolium is like. And then now we have some student examples to showcase how you can really use Portfolium to really be successful and to have employers be interested to talk to you more.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming here. My name is Matthew Binning. As I'm sure you're aware, I'm a student at San Jose State University. And here's my Portfolium. I first looked into it after they sent a campus-wide email, and I thought, I don't have any form of a portfolio right now, and I thought it was a great idea. So here's my Portfolium, without further ado. Kind of a nice quote I learned in high school, but in retrospect it sounds kind of arrogant, but that's not the point. Anyway, so here's my Portfolium, and I think what's nice about Portfolium is they let you put in basic information as well as showing off your major projects. So as you can see here, that's the simple part. You go through, and I've put in a lot of my basic information here, such as my degree, my work experience, skills, and that helps you get a good start, helps employers kind of notice just on the onset what kind of candidate you are. But I've also thrown in a lot of my projects, as you can see here, in the introduction panel. And what I think a lot of people, when they're building their portfolio, what scares them is the thought that, oh, I don't have a lot of great projects to show from my major, from my field of study. So I think what a lot of employers are really interested in is a holistic view. So I put in, as you can see here, I have an example of my writing, which is it was a research paper for a class, and here's a more in-depth view, but Portfolium will provide that. They'll you can put in a description, any tags, any of that sort of idea. So that is some more soft work, you could call it. My research paper, I even have a speech from my freshman year here. But because I am a computer science major, I like to show off kind of more technical aspects, so I've also combined that into Portfolium. I actually have some things here. These are actually projects that I developed almost 10 years ago now. When I was in middle school, I got interested in computer science then and game development. So I wrote some basic games, like it's almost like an asteroids clone, if you know what that is, meteoroids. Some more recent stuff I've done. This is another example of game development. This was from an event that I like to do, which is called the Global Game Jam. And there we develop games. So that's part of, it goes hand in hand with computer science, and Portfolium will let you show off skills. If you have any compliments, they'll say that. You can also share it to various social media. What I also like about Portfolium is that it's not just, there's a lot of organization to it. So skills demonstrated, but we can go through and you'll see various sections here, such as work experience. I actually work at academic technology, which when I got the call, if they asked me if I wanted to present, I was actually on the job at the time. I got the call and they said, hey, we're with academic technology. I kind of freaked out. I thought, oh, should I be somewhere right now? But nope, they just asked me to present. But anyway, so there's some more work experience there that I've done. Education, of course. Courses is, I would put the main courses I think that you want to show off. There's many courses, all students we go through this process, but it's your perspective on it, so that's what I tried to bring. Introduction to computer systems, data structures and algorithms. And accomplishments and awards, those are always nice to show off. You can put in scholarships or kind of like high achieving things, such as AP Scholar Award. I got that back in high school. But it's a holistic thing. That's what you can put in your major, those sort of more technical things, but also to bring in a more rounded view. So clubs, same thing. I'm part of the game development club, as I've mentioned before. So that's something fun, part of computer science. Also certifications. So it's pretty much anything. And athletics, this is another thing. I always try to be involved in athletics. This is at San Jose State University. I'm actually a fencer here, so it's another fun thing to show off. Volunteer work, that was back from high school, actually. More publications. I think that's a very interesting topic to me. But anything that you've had a publication online, they even have a section for that, so it's another good thing to show off. And that is, for the most part, what I've done here. Here's a nice view. I know this is kind of a rough presentation here. But so if anyone's interested, they can go to Portfolio, look at all the things here, get a collective view of it. And there's also connections, which regrettably I am not too big on at Portfolium right now at this moment. But it's a great tool if you know a lot of people who are using it on board. That's what collectively makes the community stronger, is if the more people who get on board with it. So regrettably, I only have, it seems like 4 connections here. One of them's my roommate, but that's how it goes. So that's about it. Thank you for your time.
Hi, so I'm Aruna. I'm a software engineering major student, and this is my portfolio. I'm going to be very honest with all of you. I just created this profile last week. So I'm not going to be talking about the same stuff what Lynn and Matthew just told you all right now. So Portfolium, it helps you create a profile which can showcase most of your skill sets and all of the rest of the experiences that you have, any kind of projects that you've developed. Basically, it's going to be something similar to your LinkedIn or the Glassdoor profiles that you already have. Most of us do have that question, isn't it? So how exactly is this going to vary? I'm pretty sure many of us over here do have a profile on any one of the social platforms that I've just listed out right now. LinkedIn, when you go to LinkedIn, you actually put in the links separately over there. If a recruiter is actually looking for a profile which is going for a software engineering professional, and he goes in there, he'll have to separately go into each one of the link and then check out what exactly the information which is present in there. But exactly coming to this Portfolium, it helps you import those projects right in here. I don't have to go into separate links to check out each separate information. Say, for example, LinkedIn has my GitHub link to it, actually. But then you cannot see the same thing on the same page. You have to take out the link, copy it, go to the next tab on the browser, check out what projects have I imported to my GitHub. That's how you check it out. But then Portfolio, as Matthew was just showing you, you can just import whole of your project documents right under the Portfolio. So, yeah, right now I just imported my GitHub link in here. I haven't imported my projects yet. So this one basically just, you can import the whole of your code in here right there. Tomorrow when you're sitting with a professional who is recruiting you, or you're discussing about your project with somebody else and you want to showcase it, you don't have the code ready with you, you don't really have to go in anywhere else. It just one place has all the information necessary in there. I guess this is more useful than anything else that I've used before, and I wish all of you do the same thing. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, so we got a background from Lynn, and we just had 2 students showcase their portfolios, and they're very different, and that's one of the great features of this application, is it's truly unique for each individual user. So as this is saying, Portfolium is truly enhancing the way college students market themselves to employers, reflect on their skills, and connect with alumni. So just a little bit of background about Portfolium. They were created in 2012 as a way for students to develop their online identity. And they actually gathered a lot of feedback from students, faculty, staff, and administrators in the way that they've been developing their tool. And they continue to gather feedback from us as they're refining it. Additionally, they are looking as a way for students to showcase their proven skills, and that's what the student portfolios we just took a look at, we're really showing the skills that they've achieved, as well as there's still room for growth as they're adding in more materials. So we did take a look at the students' portfolios, but I did want to note it is really quite easy to add an entry. It is, you just add in some basic features such as the title, the category you want to add it into. You can have a description, so you can have it be short or you could have it more lengthy. And then you can add in those visuals. So that's how we were seeing, different images that were appearing. So it could be just a link out to YouTube or a link to GitHub, or you could have that video embedded in there. You can have your documents as we saw as well. So you have a lot of flexibility on the types of content that you can add in. And so really it does begin with our students. And so as Lynn had mentioned, sometimes you might not have that professional work experience, but you do have your academic and extracurricular work. And so this is a real way that you can showcase that work. And at 83% of employers find work samples in ePortfolios useful when they're evaluating a candidate. So many people might have a similar resume, and this is one way that you can really showcase yourself and set yourself apart from others. So I did want to note just a few benefits. So Portfolium is available for all students as well as for alumni, and you are able to own it forever. So it doesn't just go away when you graduate, it goes with you. Additionally, it's a tool for your reflection. So if you started using it when you were a freshman and then over the course of the years, you'll be able to track your own growth. So that's just another nice aspect as well. And reviewers can look in there and give you comments and feedback. An additional benefit is it is flexible. So we did take a look at 2 examples, and they're both set up a little bit differently. You can add materials in certain areas, and if you don't have anything for that, if you don't have a publication, then you don't have to add anything in that particular spot. And as noted, you can communicate and connect and have interactions with others. There are recruiters that look in there, and you can see, the different skills. And as he was noting, and she was noting, if Java or any of those other particular types of applications that you're using can easily interact with others that have interest in that as well. And for the team projects, you can tag others that worked on it with you. So we were taking a look at it more so from a student perspective. There's also a faculty aspect to this. So there's a faculty piece is called the Edu Portal. And so we're just seeing a little snapshot on there where we can see kind of a weekly overview of what kind of action's been going on within Portfolium. We can also see the various trending skills. So we have like teamwork and leadership or public speaking. And so it is a way that we can track the data of the various skills that our students are achieving. And so also from an instructor perspective, you can have your account, you can create your course, and you can have an activity. So you can have a particular capstone project or a final project for a course. So you can indicate, what type of score you might be giving, whether it's a letter grade or a certain number of achievement of stars. You would give it a title, the description, and then you can indicate the various skills and competencies that that particular assignment would display. And so now we're seeing it more from a student perspective. If you do use it as a faculty member, this is what a student would see, kind of an empty spot waiting for them to add a material to it. And then they would have entered that particular item, and then they're able to prove that they have achieved that particular skill or competency, and that'll retain as part of their portfolio. And so what we're seeing here is once you do create a course, all the particular assignments that are related with that course will be associated with it. All courses, once generated, do have a unique hashtag so that you can easily locate it. And so during the spring semester, we did do a pilot with just a few classes, and we did gather some feedback from students. And overall, as we can see on a 5-point scale, most students found it very user-friendly. They would like to use it, and their overall experience was positive. So we're continuing to expand our usage for this semester as well. And so it is a real tool for encapsulating academic growth. So as noted, students can start adding in materials when they begin here as a freshman or sophomore, and then they can refine their projects over the years, add more content, and help to have a fully curated portfolio so when they leave and they move into their professional endeavors, they have this whole portfolio to showcase their growth and as they continue to grow. So just a few final notes. If you're a student and had a question, you can always contact support@portfolium.com. And if you're a faculty member, we have suan@portfolio.com. Also, if you're a faculty member, we have an informational webinar about this held on October 14th at noon. And so if you go to our eCampus webpage under workshops, you'll be able to click on a link and register for that to learn more and kind of dig in a bit more with how you can use this as a faculty member. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you found this session informational.